Hello, once again, you're welcome to Magdalentin's class. And I'm excited for today's lesson because we are going to discuss a poem written by one of the greatest in the history of English literature, Geoffrey Chaucer. And today's poem is titled The Nun's Priest's Tale. If you read the Canterbury Tales, you will encounter a lot of characters with the nun as one of the characters. And I dedicated a whole lesson on the Canterbury Tale. If you haven't listened to that lesson yet, I would advise you to follow the page, MacD Literature Made Simple, and listen to it. Now, these are the objectives for today's class, but we are just going to look at the summary of the plot today. I will take you through what you need to be able to summarize the plot. Now, I brought this in because one, it's a very long poem. It's an epic poem or epic narrative poem. And if you know about narrative poems, you know they are very long poems that tell stories. So it's quite long. But in the next class, you'll be able to identify some major themes and explain the mock epic style and be able to support your analysis with some textual evidences. So on your screen now, I have the summary of the poem on your screen, and I'll advise that when you get here, pause the lesson and read through the summary. But I'll explain the summary using these bulleted points. So the whole poem has been staged in a poor but content widow's farm. So a widow automatically means that she has lost her husband and she lives in the countryside, a peasant, but she keeps animals on her farm. And Geoffrey Chaucer decided to give voice or voices to these animals and made them act like humans. That's why later I'll be looking at mock epic style. The epic style talks about stories. They tell stories of heroes and heroines, great exploits. But here, Geoffrey Chaucer decided to use animals to perform these great exploits. So she lives on her farm and she has animals on the farm. Now, one of the animals on this farm is the chanticleer. And the chanticleer is a rooster. A rooster means a chicken, a male chicken. I know some people call it cock, but for the sake of the language, I'll prefer to refer to it as a rooster. And the rooster has a lot of wives, but he has a favorite wife. And his favorite wife is called Petilot. Now, this is where it's getting interesting already because a rooster having several wives and still has a favorite among them called the Petilot or called Petilot. Now, one day this rooster named Chanticleer had a dream, and in the dream he realized that there was a wild beast that wanted to kill it. Now, in literature, we call this dream a foreshadow. Foreshadowing means something that is revealed earlier in a story that predicts what is likely to happen in the future. So having a dream of what is likely to happen to him, and actually it did happen or it almost happened, means the dream foreshadows the future. Then he decided to discuss this dream with his wife, Petilot. But Petilot mocked him, undermined the power of the dream, and felt that one, he had that dream because he was ill, not feeling well, or because he has had a lot to eat. Now, there were some unique features that the rooster Chanticleer possesses. So we have features like his ability to sing and sing better than any human being or any creature that's ever lived. And according to the poem, he sings better than any instrument that can be used to play or that can be played in the church. So one day, whilst he was in his house, a very clever fox appeared and started singing praises, started flattering Chanticleer, singing praises of him, and it got into his head. Mind you, he had a dream that a beast wanted to kill him. Then here, when the clever fox started singing his praises, he lost focus, closed his eyes and began to sing. Then quickly the fox captured him. So the dream is coming to play or is coming to reality here. Now on their way going, either the owner of the farm, the old widow, and the other animals were running after the clever fox to rescue Chanticleer. Now on the way, Chanticleer decided to be very intelligent and then asked the fox to tell the other animal to stop running after him. This is cleverness and trickiness, because obviously it is the mouth of the fox that it used to hold Chanticleer, the rooster. So I'll prefer to call him Chanticleer than the rooster. So while the fox opened its mouth to warn the other animals or to tell them what Chanticleer asked him to do, Chanticleer quickly escaped. The fox did follow up and also tried again to flatter Chanticleer, but he learned his lessons. Now, it is a fable. It's a story, an epic story that teaches a moral lesson. And we'll be looking at some of the lessons that you can learn from this poem. But the obvious one, the obvious moral lesson for this poem is that pride and vanity could go before a fall. Or if you are too proud, if you don't take time, your pride could be the cause of your downfall or your death. His pride in his ability to sing nearly caused him his death. Now, in our next lesson, I will take you through some of the things that you can see on the screen. We'll discuss a few features as eminent in it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.